Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 137 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. What's up, guys?
Good morning. Or I guess it's afternoon for you guys.
It's afternoon, yeah.
Yeah.
It's afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I already played tennis this morning for 2 hours. It's definitely afternoon.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds exhausting, especially in this heat. It's probably a good idea you did it early this morning because it's so hot out.
I would have gone even earlier. My daughter was not really about going earlier, though. So we ended up leaving, I think, at 9-ish, maybe 9-ish. It wasn't the worst, but it's still hot out there. I agree.
Yeah, we've been dealing, and I'm assuming that you have had the same thing. We've been dealing with kind of a little bit of a mini heat wave down here for the past couple days.
Humid, too. That's been the problem, is the heat is fine, but, like, dude, I've had a headache for, like, 2 days straight, I feel like.
It's been miserable. It's been like, I think it's been, the past 3 days have been 97 to 99 degrees, depending on the day. It's been hot.
At least you're not sucking smoke all the time.
What does that mean?
So there's forest fires going in British Columbia, and all the smoke is blowing our way. So for the last couple of weeks, it's been just smoky everywhere. So
well, that's terrible.
Yeah, doing things outside, you're saying, Damon, about going outside and doing stuff with like activities. That's not really a thing here right now.
Jeez, that stinks.
Yeah, it's yeah, but yeah, I get you with the heat and muggy and all that kind of stuff is not good.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty typical for North Carolina. Like, I can't complain that much because, this is our summer. It tends to get between.
Yeah, we signed up for it, I feel.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it, though, and Damon will tell you this too. Like, we have great weather most of the year. Like, it's just a couple months.
I don't know, man. It rains a lot, but there isn't really snow.
Yeah.
That's what you're trading off, right? It's kind of like Florida, but with mountains. Like you're trading off that no snow for super hot part of the year.
But only for like 2 months. Like, and then the rest of the time it's not so bad. And then we have fairly mild winters. So
and as long as you're in, a semi-new house, air conditioning is totally the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Damon, you have been talking about buying another DVC contract for a while now, and you finally did it. So
yes, I bought two contracts.
You bought two contracts. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I ended up buying a 100-point contract for myself, and then I am co-signer, and my wife is as well, on a contract that my parents bought. So interestingly enough, even though we were both co-signers, since it was in their name first, it had to be 150 points. So we ended up with 250 over at Riviera. So now really, I only ever want to hear from people at Grand Floridian or Riviera. Like, I'm going to just totally monocle everybody else. That's it. So unless you're from either one of those two places, like, I don't want to hear about it.
Now I'm just imagining you showing up in like a really nice like suit with a cane and a monocle, and
as long as I had like a big like silver ball on the top of the cane, like one of those canes, like totally Scrooge McDuck style for sure.
Yeah, you got a Scrooge McDuck style when you stay at Riviera once that happens. So.
Yeah, and I think the 100 points was perfect for what I need now. And again, to not have to worry about D transfers at a later inevitable, hopefully in the very far future date, being on a contract with my parents makes that a lot easier also.
Yeah, and did you say this was a direct purchase? You bought this directly from Disney?
Of course you did. Of course I did. Yeah. Of course. Because I'm going to tell you that there's a few things that pushed me personally towards direct. I literally signed the contract and had the points in my account in less than an hour. Like, that was it. It was so easy. And it was funny because, our use year is a bank by July 31st. And we did this yesterday because we're recording on Saturday, right? So we did this yesterday. And by the time we started the process, I was able, let me rephrase that. My wife was able to bank the points before the end of the day. So same day contract signed, same day bank points, didn't even have to worry. Now, they also said that if there was a problem, because you bought the points so close, it's not an issue, right? They'll let you bank them even though your date is passed, but didn't even have to worry about it because it was so quick. There was definitely no stress with any sort of, right of first refusal, but there is a cost to be paid with that. And for us, convenience outweighs that cost, and FOMO definitely outweighs that cost, right? For us personally. But there still was some good deals for direct, depending on how many points that you got. So I still think we did okay. But yeah, I think for us, it's just, I want to be able to go and use my points at every resort, even future resorts. And that's where it's a little bit of an issue. And I think for us, again, like, I don't know what Disney's going to do in the future. So I just liked having that option. And again, I don't think that there's not a huge difference right now between Riviera Resale and Riviera Direct, depending on how many points you get, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes sense.
So
yeah, you value the convenience over, and listen, I think
Absolutely.
anybody at, over a DVC resale market would tell you that the process takes longer. I mean, that's just a reality, right? It's just a different thing. And you can pay the higher price for that convenience of doing it directly through Disney, or you can save some money. And, it's not that, I want to say it's not more of a hassle to do through, a resale contract. It's really, signing a couple papers and sending it back. It's pretty easy. It's just more time. It's that
waiting process in between. Like, I don't want to, again, I decided I was going to buy a contract, and I was kind of like, okay, from the time I was like, I'm really going to buy a contract, not just talk about it, but I'm really going to buy a contract. Like, it was really only 3 days, 4 days, maybe, until I even reached out. And the way it went for me is I decided I was going to buy a contract, and then I just sent my dude a message and was like, hey, I'm buying a contract. Call me on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. Right. And he was like, yep. Okay. And that was it. There was, not that process. I just fear, like I said, for me, the bigger fear is, what do you get when you have a resale Riviera contract? I feel like you get a huge headache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you're Riviera resale, you're limited to just Riviera, right?
Yeah. Forever.
Yeah. That's,
and I don't love that. So, I mean, for the grandfathered older ones, right? You guys are in for what? You guys are in for everything, or are you just in for the original 14?
Everything. I got in like the day or right before they closed that off. So
yeah. So I think now resale, you're talking original 14. And for me, if something cool comes, like, I'm not about that.
Yeah, I get that, and you're also still holding out hope for that the long rumored Epcot resort, right? So
absolutely. Now, it'll be interesting because will I want to buy more points at that point? I don't think so. I think now, like I said, with what I have, I mean, gosh, what am I at? 450 or something? If I kind of put everything together, like, that's good enough for me, man.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah, I don't think I need more than that.
Yeah, I mean, you could start doing 2 bedrooms if you wanted to.
Well, that's kind of the plan. I kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, that's what you've been doing, right? You do 2, or well, you have done.
No, I do 1 bedrooms most of the time at 5-person places, but now we're going to start to do 2 bedrooms anyway.
Yeah.
So this will just make it a little bit easier to do that. And again, for the other thing for me is because, Hilton Head is great, but because I already have a place to stay there, I don't have to worry about that. So, like, I'm probably just going to use mine exclusively at Disney or RCI. So again, we're going to Hilton Head next week. And because my wife's parents' house is still under construction, we don't have a place to stay. And we flipped our old points that were going to go to waste, pandemic points, and flipped them into RCI. So we're staying at an RCI resort on DVC points next week. So I'll definitely let everyone know how that is. And it will be interesting, but I am not against flipping to RCI for my points because, again, I've already got my money back on my Saratoga. So if I flip those points to RCI, I'm good with that. Again, it's a convenience factor, right? I could rent them out, take that money and do another vacation. Totally understand that. But that's not me, right? I'm all about does this convenience factor. So flipping to RCI now that we've already done it once even makes it even easier to do it because we already have our RCI account and everything set up.
Yeah, that'll be. I'll be interested to hear your review when you come back. Your trip report of your Hilton Head trip. So
yeah, it will be interesting.
Well, congratulations on your new contracts. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'll also be interested at some point when you do stay at Riviera, what your thoughts are on that place. So.
yeah. I mean, I don't know when that's going to take place. I'm going to tell you, like, I'm also totally not sold on doing my November vacation at this point either. So I have, like I said, we have a 2-bedroom booked, but if I have to eat that, like, I'm not adverse to that. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Interesting. All right, cool. Anything else you want to talk about with your direct purchase?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, let's get into listener questions then. Our first one is from Francisco, one of our meme masters in the group there. So he says, I think we can all agree that Magic Kingdom isn't the best park for dining, but if you had to spend a day at MK and only eat from their selections, what are your picks? No signature or fine dining. See, that's where you get a little bit, make things a little bit more
tough,
difficult.
man.
Yeah. So his choices are Main Street Bakery Coffee, Cheshire Cafe Cattail, Tomorrowland Terrace Lunch, Gaston's Tavern, LeFou's Brew, which is good. I've had that before. It's a little sweet, but
yeah,
I like it.
I don't like it. But.
I like it. Sleepy Hollow, Funnel Cake, Pecosville, Telltale Inn, and Cafe for dinner, Sunshine Tree Terrace for a Dole Whip, of course. So wait, is Liberty Tree considered, is that signature? I don't think that's signature. I would go Liberty Tree.
Is it?
I don't think that's considered.
Is it a quick serve or a sit down?
Well, he didn't say, he just said no signature or fine dining. That's a category of sit down, right?
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. So unless he's trying to say you're only allowed to do quick serve, then that's a different story, right? If he said you're only allowed to do quick serve, then, I think he's basically chosen all of the choices I would have made there, right? I don't know of another one. Yeah, I don't know. That's
I wouldn't change this. The big things for me is lunch and dinner matters the most, and Tomorrowland Terrace is okay, and Pecos Spills is good, so that covers that off. The snacks are pretty interchangeable, in my opinion.
I like Columbia Harbor House. I feel like you left that off there. I've gotten some good meals there.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's really not a lot else to get, is there?
If he's talking non-sit down, then no. I mean, because if we're going to talk about sit down, I probably would choose. You do have some good sit down options. I love Liberty Tree. We've been there a couple times. In fact, I think I said a couple trips ago it was our favorite meal of the trip was Liberty Tree. It's just it's the same food, and it's been the same food forever, but they do the same food well. And I think I really like that place a lot. And I mean, we've also done the Skipper Canteen, and that was pretty good. So that's an option too. And, Be Our Guest is all right. I mean, it's never been our favorite place, but it's not terrible. I mean, we've had good food there. So
yeah, your other options Tony's, I guess would be, I guess that would be fine dining, wouldn't it?
I don't think I bet it's considered theme dining, right? So they have,
I guess I don't, yeah. I'm not versed enough on what the differences are. So this it's sit down or not sit down for me.
Tony's is called casual dining. So, okay. And then Liberty Tree is marked down as family style. And then Skipper Canteen is, oh gosh, it doesn't actually say. It just says table service for this. It doesn't list like a specific category for that one. That's funny. Yeah. But usually, they have like signature dining, fine dining, casual dining.
See, I think the only one that in my head we classify as signature would be Cinderella's Royal Table.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. But I don't even know if that's really fine dining, that's not fine. I mean, that food's okay.
Yeah, it's themed again. It's like character dining, right?
Yeah, exactly. Special. I'm trying to find. Okay, there it is. Buffet, casual dining, character dining, dining events, dessert events, family style, fine signature dining, unique themed dining. Those are the categories of dining experiences. So yeah. So I don't think Liberty Tree falls under fine or signature. So I would go Liberty Tree there. That's where I go. So, anyway, yeah. So these are good options though.
So going off of Francisco's criteria, basically the only place you can't pick in Magic Kingdom would be yeah, I think Cinderella's is the only one. And even, I'm trying to find if it's actually
considered signature or fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on. I'm doing it. I'm doing this quickly. I should have prepared, I feel like. Yeah, Cinderella's Royal Table, you're right, is the only fine signature dining in Magic Kingdom.
Okay, so basically, if you can eat anywhere except Cinderella's Royal Table, where would you eat?
Everywhere else.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's easy, I guess. But like I guess his other comment is, it's not the best place for food, but there's definitely some okay. Like you won't be miserable eating there, but it also won't be like somewhere you're deliberately going out of your way to eat.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking for specific, like really, really good food, I mean, I think on the monorail loop outside of Magic Kingdom, there's some really good, fine dining options that you can go to, the Narcoossee's of the world and the Citric Coast and California Grill and of course, Ohana you can go to, of course. But, there's lots of places that you can go right outside the gates. But then there's, you have, Skipper Canteen and I like I said, I really like Liberty Tree. We had a good meal at the Plaza at that one time. So, I think there's options. You want to read Francisco's other question that he has?
Sure. So he says
Francisco's got 3 questions in this week's episode. I don't know how that happened.
He's on it this week.
Yeah, he is. He's got a lot of questions this week, apparently.
All right. So Francisco says, if DVC were to offer a new perk to their members, and it could not be a perk from the past, what would you like to see? I think an earlier reservation option for dining, fast pass VIP tours would be awesome, even if we're only earlier by a few days.
Yeah, VIP tours ain't happening, but
yeah. I mean, what would I like to see them offer that they haven't?
Fast pass.
Yeah, fast passes, like, so many fast passes per day with a trip or with a room booked or something like that, or you pay a premium and you get reserved fast passes.
Well, I think Damon said this before, like if they ever went to like the paid fast pass to have that as a free benefit of DVC, actually, right?
No, I said that's never going to happen.
Oh, maybe who was it then that said that? Oh, it was somebody in our group was going off.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what like something different that they could offer that they haven't offered. I mean, the obvious ones are
I say another lounge, man.
Yeah,
another what?
Lounge.
Oh, I thought you said island. I was like, what?
No,
another lounge would be great, but he's saying you can't do it from the past though.
Can't do it what?
Do a perk from the past. That has to be something totally new.
Well, in a different park, it's not from the past. It's not like they're bringing back up.
That's true.
A lounge
building a new lounge or a new DVC only area.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a lounge per se. Can be.
About a DVC only viewing area for the fireworks. I know you have Top of the World, but like maybe for like Epcot or something for fireworks, like you have your own viewing area.
Nah, it's gonna be too packed.
That is the problem, right?
Yeah.
There's more DVC members than we realize, right? So you can't, like VIP tours, you can't do that with because there's, tons of
I would
DVC
agree.
members.
I would love a lounge in Animal Kingdom with a safari view. Like,
Ooh.
I think that would be neat because it would be busy, but not super busy. You kind of know what I mean? Like, it would be like being at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah.
But not. Like, I could be on board for that.
That'd be cool. I like it.
They've never done a discount on dining packages through DVC, have they?
Not that I can think of. But it's possible it happened before.
That to me would be one that, not that I would necessarily use it, but a lot of people ask about it. That would be something I would pick is, give people the option for a discounted dining package, which actually may push it into the threshold of being, viable over paying out of pocket. But
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, Jeremy says, what is the rider attraction you love that makes a family member groan or roll their eyes when they hear you talk about it? See, I don't feel like I have anything like that. Because, I mean, I would say the People Mover, but everyone in my family loves the People Mover, so...
Oh,
Small World.
Yeah, Small World, easy.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone in my family hates it, and they always have, like...
Yep.
Like stories of like, oh, it was so awful. I got stuck on it once. Like I have a family member that's claimed that, or she said it a couple of times, that she was like, oh, we went there once and we got stuck on it for 40 minutes and, the song was drilled into my head. And I'm like, I don't necessarily believe that, because...
You don't believe it was 40 minutes?
No, I'm sure
I would be okay with 40 minutes on Small World.
I didn't realize you guys love Small World so much, both of you.
I think it's a fantastic ride for a lot of reasons, and honestly, over the years, I've grown more in love with it. Like, I appreciate it.
What Trevor's saying.
Yeah, it's grown on me, but a lot of people don't see what's so great about it, I guess, is my thing.
What's not great about it? It's got everything. It's got classic nostalgia, animatronics.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, relaxing, right?
Yeah, AC.
Yeah, AC.
A catchy song.
Yeah.
I don't mind the song. And that's probably, again, I know this has been said in the past and asked in the past, like, that's the one ride, like, if I don't go on, I don't know if I really went to Disney.
Oh, that's like I went to Disney ride. Like, that's the ride you have to go on to, yeah. I get it.
And I mean, like, for people that say they're really Disney fans, the song was written by the Sherman Brothers, and all the dolls were designed by Mary Blair. So, if you don't appreciate that, like, what are you doing?
See, now Damon, go ahead, sorry, Damon.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I take that over Peter Pan any day of the week.
I get that.
Yeah.
So Damon's ride is Small World. What is your ride, Trevor? That's like, you haven't gone to Disney unless you went on that ride.
I haven't gone to Disney if I haven't been on that ride. I think for my family in particular, it's
the land.
It's Pirates.
Oh, Pirates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pirates is we have to ride Pirates.
See, I don't have to ride Pirates.
Yeah.
Land would be second for me, though.
So what's that?
The land would be second for me.
Yeah,
the land.
Land is up there. Again, that's another sleeper hit, like Small World. Like, people don't understand it until you really have ridden it.
Mm-hmm. Man, I love living with the land. I feel like that's like a can't miss thing. I feel like you have to go on that.
But people walk by it. Like, I've had people that they go and they're like, "What is this?" Like, they don't understand what it is, because like when you walk up to it, it's not. It doesn't have like the fanfare or like an amazing queue or anything that really draws you in. It's just kind of in a building. But when you get on it, that's when it's like, okay, this is cool, right?
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah. I think for me, my ride is People Mover or Carousel Progress. I feel like for both of us, like, just those two things, like, it's just, I don't know. Carousel Progress is just one of those classic things we just have to do every time,
Yeah.
And I know it's a nap place for some people, but that annoys me too. Like, I can't stand that people nap in there. Like, come on. Like, or like, talk through it or whatever. But I mean, if you want to sing along with the song, I'm cool with that. But I do wish they would update it. Don't get me wrong. I think like that last scene is pretty rough at this point. Like, they really got to do something about it. So actually, one of the things I learned from that Behind the Attraction show is that, and I don't want to spoil this for anybody, so spoiler alert if you haven't watched that show yet and you intend to. The way that they came up with the mechanism for Smuggler's Run to make it high capacity was by looking at Carousel Progress.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay. Did not think about that, because for those that don't know, the Smuggler's Run is a big circle basically, and the pod that you go into, it's a big circle and it turns. So, and you get off in basically the same, in a different place that you came on. So it doesn't necessarily feel like it. I mean, if you pay attention, I think you can kind of feel it. But, it's like a big rotating table that you sit on, and apparently they got their inspiration from that from Carousel Progress. Just fun, interesting,
Yeah, it makes sense after the fact, but yeah, you're right. Somebody had to sit there and look at it and go, "Hey, we have this other attraction. How can we use a turntable to our advantage?" Right?
Well, no, it was more of, they were like, "We don't know how we're going to make this a high capacity attraction." Like, they couldn't. They basically were like,
loading and unloading people is the challenge, but how do you do it in a way that you're not like stopping the group coming in while the other group is getting off?
Exactly, and how do we make this so that like we can have thousands of people writing it all at the same time. Like that was their challenge, and they said they had a really hard time figuring it out. And then somebody they looked towards the Carousel of Progress, and they were like, "There's our solution." So I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." All that stuff comes around again. So, but if you haven't watched that show, you should check it out. It is interesting. Have either one of you guys watched that? Or
we started watching it. We're on the second or third episode now, so I haven't gotten to that particular one yet, but it's fine.
I did find it interesting though. There are some contradictory things between that show and the Imagineering story. The way that certain things are presented of an Imagineering story, they present Tower of Terror as being one Imagineer's particular idea and concept. And then behind the traction, they make it a totally different thing. And it's just kind of interesting to see the different stories told by different people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Different perspectives, I guess. I think, have you watched Jungle Cruise yet, Trevor? I have not. And I know Damon's watching it today.
No, we're going to be watching it later today. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have to hear everybody's reviews on that. It seems like while the critics kind of liked it, it seems like all the people that have watched it have enjoyed it a lot. So, seems like a cross between Indiana Jones and The Mummy is from everything I've read, and that sounds like fun.
That's kind of what I'm expecting from it.
I hope that sounds like a great movie.
Yeah,
it does, right?
Yeah,
the original Mummy, anyway. Yeah, the first,
of course,
yeah,
the Brendan Fraser Mummy.
The Brendan Fraser mummy. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So, I'm excited to check that out at some point. But yeah, I guess we'll get your reviews next week. So.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do? Who wants to do Dan's question? Damon, were you going to say something? Sorry.
No.
Okay.
All right. I'll grab Dan's question here. So I don't. All right. Let's see if I can figure this out. It says, "Hear me out. Look at a DVC contract as we know it, like a whole life insurance policy. Every contract will die at a specified date. For Riviera, you pay $200 per point now and will enjoy it until January 31st, 2070. What if Disney offered a term life policy? Enjoy Riviera for the next 10 years at $50 per point. That would add a great new dimension to both direct and resale purchases. So instead of running to the full end of a contract, you only purchase so many years on a contract.
I don't know how this. The first thing that kind of stops this from, I guess, it's from a money standpoint. But the thing is, you can leave your contract to somebody else, right? So that's a good thing. Yeah. So that negates that part of it. The problem with I see with this, I get what he's saying, but okay. So what happens in 10 years? Is it $50 a point again, or is it not? And look, there's going to be people that want to front end a policy, right? That's the problem with let's say Riviera, everyone wants in for the first 10 years, maybe people want in from, year 11 to 20, but not as many. So now you're, from a Disney standpoint, why would you want that over somebody buying in for 50 years? It just doesn't make sense for them. This is more of a pipe dream for somebody that doesn't necessarily want to pay $200 per point. And I get that, right? But that's where resale should come in for you, right? Because think about it. If you want to enjoy something for 10 years, go buy a contract that has 10 years left on it. They exist, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, you can do this with resale, right? So you could buy a shorter contract with resale. I don't think anybody has 10 years left. I don't think we're that close.
Yeah. I think Old Key West renewed.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but that's what I think you would want to do here. I mean, it sounds like a great idea until years 21 through 30 or 31 through 40. What are you paying for that? Unless it was locked in. Now that would be interesting. Is that if you're talking every 10 years is locked in at $50 a point, that all of a sudden becomes interesting, because now you have a 50-year contract that's really locked in at $250 a point, right? In theory, over the $200 a point now. And that becomes a little bit interesting then. But I just don't know if you get those people buying it, or would it be too buyable?
Would it make sense for Disney to even do it? Would it be profitable for them still?
Well, it would be, because you're talking about $250 a point in the front, rather than 200 in theory. And you could even have it go up incrementally and say, years 1 through 10 or 50, years 11 through 20 or 55, and but it would bring something pretty interesting to the table. I just think it would be a nightmare in terms of management, but it's kind of cool idea. They're not going to do it, but it's kind of cool.
And then there's a whole thing. Like my sticking point on this is, so you commit to 10 years at a certain dollar value. The problem with that is that it makes for a lot of short-term thinking, and I think it'll actually make for a lot more unhappy customers, because if you say you've got 10 years, and let's say in 5 years something happens and you can't, let's say this contract is set up in such a way that you really can't get out of it for the 10 years, or it's not feasible. You couldn't.
That would come off the table. If you're only talking 10 years, it's like
you can't.
You have to eat it on that then.
Exactly.
There's no resale.
And so I think that would actually push a lot of people away, because, I guess the thing about DVC is that, you're committing to it, but you still have an out, and that you can always sell the contract at any point.
But where this is really nice though, is that if you're like, hey, I'm not a huge Disney person, but I'm going to have kids, and I want my kids to go to Disney when they're kid age, and then I want to be out. Right? 10 years is perfect almost.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of start taking them, because look, you can take them early, and I've taken my kids, at 1, 2, but in reality, I feel like they would get a lot more out of, let's say, 5 and up. Right? So 5 to 15. That's not really a bad idea.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good for that kind of scenario, right? Like that's a good way to do that. But yeah, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's too much work, but it does sound interesting, and it makes more sense if you kind of put kids around it and then kind of give it an incremental, but still lock in the price per point up front. It would be, again, you could go 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90, and you're still, in theory, Disney's still making more money than as if it all sold out at 200 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good question. Dan finally had a good question. I mean, Dan actually had a good question. Wait, no, I'm still not there yet. Good question, Dan. There we go.
Poor Dan. You're going to make Dan sad. Francisco actually said Dan had a lightning round and brought up a good question. So look at that. He had actually 2 good questions.
Look at that.
If TVC were to start offering moderate and value resorts, should those points be limited to that quality of resort? If not, I could see a lot of families trying to maximize their points by staying at a value at 5 points a night.
This is just not going to happen, because it just doesn't make sense for the way DVC works, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I get the idea, right? Like, so if you made like a moderate category, and say you had like 3 resorts that were in the moderate category, and you bought a contract in the moderate category, then you only stay in that moderate category. You know what I mean? Like you could stay at those 3 resorts, for that, and it would be less per point, I would think, and the dues would be less. I would assume.
But can't you use your points at value resorts, even though
you can, but the conversion is not fantastic. Yeah. Which
but I'm saying, so what's he actually saying then?
It's a bad trade-off to use your points at those resorts.
No, but what's he actually asking about then? He's asking about if they started offering it at a per point instead of a converted.
No, I think what he's saying is, if they offered specifically a value or a moderate resort contract, it should
like this is a new resort, like they're building DVC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's saying that it shouldn't be in the pool with the other current DVC resorts. Like it shouldn't be that people can be, because I think what he's saying is that you would have people who had a deluxe contract and going, hey, I've got 100 points here, but instead of me staying at somewhere where it's like 18 or 20 points a night, you can stay at the value resort that's 5 points a night, which kind of screws up people trying to stay at the value resort. So I guess it kind of works both ways, as it stops people from who currently have a DVC contract utilizing it, and then the other way as well is people buying a cheap contract. Although I don't see it actually working the other way, is that you wouldn't buy a value resort contract and then try and stay at a deluxe, because you probably wouldn't have the points to do that anyway. Like
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like it would have to work on a totally different system, right? And I feel like they wouldn't build new ones because I don't know if the economics make sense there, to build like a moderate resort and sell it at a lower value. I just don't know if that would make any sense. But I could see them. I mean, I don't think they'd actually do this, but if they were going to do it, I would see it more as like they take 2 buildings from Port Orleans and make them into DVC moderates. You know what I mean?
Like they just did with the Grand Floridian, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's the only way I could see that happening, but it's not going to happen. But it's an interesting idea. I mean, it's like, how do you expand your customer base beyond people that can afford DVC, right? Like you have a value version of DVC, but I don't know if they really want that.
I feel that, if somebody is hard set on a value resort, trying to offer them a DVC contract, I don't think is going to.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to go over well. I think that Disney knows their customers better than we do. I think value resorts work because there's people that, kind of like you were saying, Damon, is, they're going on that one trip, or that, they've got young kids or whatever. They don't want to spend a ton of money, and value resorts is that it's that close enough where, you're still on Disney property, but you're not paying, moderate or deluxe prices. So offering a DVC there, just it's not the right demographic for that, because these are not people that you're going to convince them that, hey, come back to this value resort for the next 20 years and stay with us, right? Like I don't, that's kind of a fringe case at least in my experience.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it would be interesting if they had it to see if people did buy into it. I just, I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
I do agree with the point about, if they were to do that, they do have to keep it separate between the different categories of resorts. Oh yeah. Because that would bring in all kinds of chaos if
Absolutely.
They did that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the system's already complicated enough as it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need any more complication within the DVC system. So, all right. So last question we got is Cody wants to know, what's the WDW 50th merch we're looking most forward to buying?
Oof. Definitely a mug. Definitely shirts like that. That's given for me.
Yeah. I want
But I'll tell you. Yep. I feel like if they could definitely get me with some artwork though.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be some artwork, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could definitely get me with some artwork, but I think that, shirt wise, I'm definitely doing 2. It's not even a question. And while I'm not a mug person, my wife is, so I could go 2 there as well, depending on what the look looks like, right? And the kids get some shirts. But artwork is definitely what I'm looking for if there's something pretty cool. Limited edition, obviously. And I don't even care if it's as limited for like purchase that year rather than numbered limited, but just give me something like that. I'm good.
I'm all about a shirt and a hat. Or I'd go.
I don't do hats, man.
I see. I'm always wearing a hat when I'm.
They don't have cool hats. They got your grandpa hats, but I'm just not about.
What about our Jungle Cruise hats? We got our Jungle Cruise skipper hats.
Those are nice, but you don't wear them to the park, though.
Yeah,
I kind of want to.
I kind of do too. I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely want to wear it to the park, but yeah.
I feel
like
there's
a bucket hat.
Yeah, bucket hat.
WDW bucket hat. I still don't have
those. I think.
Well, the 50th merch bucket hat.
Oh, yeah, 50th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted a welcome home bucket hat, but Tom never bought me one, so.
Maybe for Christmas, young man. We'll see. But that's the kind of stuff. Apparel's cool. I would like some. To your point, I would go for like a maybe like some limited edition Funko Pops of some characters I like. I might do that. I kind of like the Funko Pops.
I can't do anything with them though. Like
they just take up space. Yeah.
Yeah, they really do just take up space. Like, I have this teeny tiny office that I sit in to do the podcast and to work, right? And again, I made it super small on purpose, but I realized there's not a lot, in here. I have my diploma, a small piece of artwork, that I got from a really cool artist, and then the cell, and that's it. Like, that's all I can fit in here. Like, Funko Pops are just taking up too much room, man.
I'd like a pin. I'd like a 50th anniversary pin.
A pin? But what are you doing with the pin?
Well, you put it on your pin thing, Some people have pin boards. They've got, some people just wear them around to the park. Some people have them on backpacks. There's lots of things you could do with it. But you wouldn't take it out of the package. You would display it. So
what if there was a Haunted River Country pin?
I mean, it's a thing we could do, but we'd have to redesign the artwork to be like the three of us.
I don't know how we could fit that on a pin in its current state. But
I mean, if it were just the three of us like together, I think we could make that look cool. But
yeah.
We really need to do our ad.
I was going to say, back to the merch thing. I guess my biggest thing, just to tie this off, is the iridescent color is what they're calling it. I want that on a mug, and I want a tumbler with that.
All right.
And I honestly want to see what else they'll offer that's not the usual, shirts and Mickey ears.
Weird stuff.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing, though, that I keep running through my mind. I have a friend that's an artist out in California, and she does tumblers. Her husband is a graffiti artist, like phenomenal. And they do a bunch of stuff for me, for like the kids and stuff like that. And she just started doing tumblers. Like, I'm all about tumblers now. Like, so I'm getting one for my son for Christmas, and I'm kind of curious to see how it comes out. But I was actually already thinking, like, maybe we do welcome home tumblers, man, and give them away during the holidays.
Could that actually replace my Disney tumbler? Because I have a really nice, like, Starbucks tumbler that I have on my desk.
I think Trevor, this would be more maybe water, like a stainless steel tumbler. Like, I don't know, do you do coffee in stainless steel, or you do the plastic?
No, this is just a water tumbler. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So stainless steel water tumbler. Once this one comes in from her, I'm going to see, like, maybe again, like, that's what we do for our giveaways for the holidays. So if everyone thinks that's a good idea, let us know.
Yeah. And when we do plan to do a meetup next year, we'll probably have some sort of cool thing to give away there too. So that's a thing that we're going to do at some point.
We're always thinking about these things. So
we are. Yeah.
Wait, Trevor already booked his weekend, didn't he?
I have.
Yeah, but we haven't announced the date yet, so...
Why can't Trevor just tell them now?
Well, I guess I can't I? Because, I booked it.
We're going to do Friday night, or we're going to do Saturday night?
I'm thinking... So I'm flying in Friday, so I would rather do it Saturday.
Dude, if I'm coming in, there's no way it's going to be a Friday night.
All right, so it's Saturday night. Saturday night it is. So what's
Disney
the date,
Springs.
Trevor?
So the dates are... I'm there. Right. I fly on the May 13th, so it'll be May 14th, 2022. Would be
Disney Springs.
Disney Springs, yeah.
We don't know where yet at Disney Springs. We will, throw a...
Tom said he's renting out the boathouse, the whole thing.
Okay.
But you would have had to buy like 7,000 more shirts. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
But no, listen,
more shirts sold.
We're going to put like a thing out there so you can RSVP. And then once we figure out how many people are actually going to show up, then we'll determine where it's actually going to be at. But just know it's going to be at Disney Springs. So we just don't know where in Disney Springs at the moment. So, but yeah, so if you... Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, we started planning it, and yes, I'm the one who has to travel internationally, so I have to think about it well ahead of time, which is why I've already booked stuff. But
so Trevor and Tom are an in. I'm still a maybe, depending on sports schedules.
Of course, it's totally.
We'll have to see. You don't need
really.
To
who wants to see me? They all want to see Tom and Trevor. So
they all want to see you. It's the opposite. You're the only one they want to see. They've seen our faces before. They don't know what you look like.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, but see, that's going to be the problem for you at the meetup. The people are going to want to take selfies with you, and then all of a sudden it's going to be all over the internet. It's
I doubt that's going to happen. But
could we have like a weird cardboard cutout of Damon that we could use if he's not?
If I don't go, you mean?
Yeah.
I think you should just do like the paper bag on the head with the cutout, or like a mask. Like, you could just wear a mask.
You're not allowed to wear. Wait, are you allowed to wear masks at Disney Springs?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably
Purge mask would be good.
Or you'd have to hire a stand-in.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Well, that is absolutely true. I can send anybody.
Yeah, we can claim somebody as you, and they wouldn't know.
Jeremy could go and be me now.
But everyone knows what Jeremy looks like because he posts himself in the group all the time.
That's true. That's true.
All right, we got to do our ad.
Yeah,
You're
all right.
Way past. All
right,
go ahead, Trevor.
Okay, yeah. So, DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, Turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2020, DVC Resale Market helped over 3,600 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 382-7767. And when you speak to them, let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So DVC news. This isn't really DVC news. This is just resort news in general. But I feel like this, really kind of affects Eddie. It
affects us.
Yeah. Sure. For sure. So this is, and by the way, Disney hasn't announced this or anything. This has kind of been just going through the grapevines. And so I it's not that I don't believe, especially the folks in our group that have posted this, because there are people that have called Disney and, asked about this, but we haven't heard an official announcement or a policy change or anything like that. But basically, what's being said is that there's a new policy that requires guests with split stays, meaning if you're not familiar with the term split stay, you stay at one Disney resort for a certain amount of days and then you move to another Disney resort. It used to be that Bell Services would transfer all of your perishable items to and from the resorts along with your luggage. And that is not the case anymore. So they can no longer transfer perishable items. So over the past 2 weeks. So you basically have to move them yourself. Now, I guess it doesn't mean they won't store them anymore, right? So, I think they would still store them. It's just that they won't transfer them for you.
So I think, or what my understanding on this reasoning was, there was some issues with people having medical items that were perishable. And so it is a liability for Disney, right? If they mishandle it while it's being transferred and something happens to somebody's medicine that it needs to be stay cool or whatever, that puts them on the hook. So
agreed.
I can see why they need to take a stance like this on it, and again, it's hard because it's well, what about other stuff? What about non-medical stuff? But Disney can't draw that line, right? They have to kind of pick an all or nothing stance on it. So I get it.
Yeah, it just makes it makes split stays a little more difficult, right? Especially for someone like you, Trevor, who doesn't have a car. I think for Damon and I, it would probably be okay because we could just pack up all our stuff in the car and drive it from one resort to the other if we had to,
Yeah.
But it's a little bit different if you don't have the car,
Well, and I guess the thing is, if you need something that has to stay in a cooler, it's, for me, if I was to do a split stay, I would plan around making sure that I have nothing like that with me. I wouldn't leave, or if I had perishable stuff, it would be okay, well, I'd buy enough for the first part of the split stay and then, buy more for the second half. Again, this is if somebody's doing, if they have medical stuff that they have to transport, even just throwing it in the car, you have to make sure you have a cooler that is, able to transport the stuff. It's not like you can throw it in the car, go to the park, and then come back later. It does turn into a much bigger hassle because you're actually having to make sure that you get it to the new resort and, store it or hand it off to someone appropriately.
Yep.
So yeah, I get where this is, for us, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Like you said, even without a car, I can definitely plan around it, but I can see where, for some people, this is going to be a huge monkey wrench.
Well, and for you don't really do split stays either, right? So if you're
not yet, but I mean, that's not to say it won't happen, but even if it does, like I said, I can plan well enough around making sure I don't have, perishable stuff there that needs to stay in a cooler or whatever. So,
but I wonder if they would transport a cooler though. Would they transport a cooler? If I had my own cooler with me and I filled it with ice and throw my stuff in there, you could just have it as luggage, right?
That's a good question. Yeah, I wonder if you stored it yourself, if they would just say, whatever happens to it happens, right? But
yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, yeah. I wanted to bring that up because it was floating. I originally was not going to put this on there, but it was floating around too many of the groups for us not to mention. And it does feel very DVC oriented because, you do tend to order food with the DVC rooms because, the kitchens and such. So, All right, so back to our Fab 50 watch. And
okay, can I call something on this first before we get into it? So I know you have a bunch of characters listed on here, but the source is all coming from WDWNT, which is sometimes questionable in their reporting.
The long list of the rumored ones that they have is, one thing, but the other ones have been officially announced. So the ones that are on there, those are all official announcements that Disney's made on like Instagram and other social media places. So those are not in question. It's just the big list that they came up with. So, so additional ones that have been announced: Piglet and Pooh, which
makes sense.
Pretty straightforward. Now here's where we start getting interesting.
Okay, so keeping in this line of thought, so Winnie the Pooh and Piglet still makes sense. Edna Mode from Incredible. So okay, that's crossing over into Pixar territory. That's fine. Edna Mode is still, she's been around long enough that, is iconic. Yeah. All that still makes sense.
Dante from Coco.
What the heck? Like that is, again,
that one's out there.
Don't get me wrong. I like Coco, but this is the weirdest choice for a Fab 50.
It is strange. Yeah. Because he wasn't even a main character in that movie,
right? like he, and honestly, his screen time in that movie, like he definitely was great in the scenes that he was in, but he it's an odd choice. Now that one, by the way, they said is going to be at. I think that one's going to be. Where did they say? Did it say Epcot? Yeah, revealed for Epcot as part of
revealed for Epcot,
and then
but that
also,
makes me just think that they want to put that in the Mexico Pavilion, right? Like that's, and they decided they didn't want to go with Miguel, right? And they just you know what I mean? Like they, I don't know.
But again, this is kind of invalidating the whole Fab 50 thing because it's they're literally just randomly picking characters, because then the next one is Joe Gardner from Soul, which again, nothing wrong with Soul, but that's a fairly new movie, and it seems like they're just picking whatever suited somebody's attention that day.
Well, I mean, I feel like they probably do have a certain rhyme or reason to this, right? Like, this one's going to be at Hollywood Studios too. So this one actually looks really cool. Like, it's got a cool look to it. I have not seen Soul yet though, so I need to get on that. But yeah, it's an interesting choice. I think they're just trying to incorporate some of the newer movies in there, Right, but then again, like I said, that saying the thing that's hanging me up on this is they said it's the Fab 50, which you're going back to the original. The original terminology around is like, these are the iconic characters. Yeah.
These, I guess to myself, I know these characters. I wouldn't say that all of them are iconic.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like they're just, like you said, they're more looking at, well, we have this space. What makes sense to throw in this space? Not necessarily does it, make sense as part of the 50th celebration. Just, we just need, throw Dante in here because, it's the Mexico Pavilion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the other thing that I have on this list is, so as you mentioned, WWNT said that they've looked at a lot of the art for this and a lot of the announcements and have come up with what they think the 50 is going to be. Now, is that reliable? I don't know, right? Like, who knows? It could be wrong. And it probably is. But I think it's interesting to speculate. So I'll just quickly read the list that they have, and we can, talk about that. Does that sound good? All right. So Minnie, Mickey, obviously. Donald Duck, Goofy, Daisy Duck, Pluto, Chip, Dale, Lumiere, Cogsworth, Joe Gardner, Timon, Pumbaa, Figment. Okay, these are all ones so far that have been pretty much announced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Orange Bird, which, I wouldn't be shocked if there was an Orange Bird one. That seems like it'll happen. Dante, again, have been announced. Edna Mode. Now we got Woody, Bo Peep, Buzz Lightyear. All those make sense. I think that those are possible, but those have not been announced yet, I don't think. Go ahead. Sorry, Trevor.
No, keep going. Yeah.
Mad Hatter. Interesting choice.
I'm not against Mad Hatter. It's still...
I'm not against it either.
Yeah.
Dumbo.
Yeah.
Timothy. Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't surprise me. Cheshire Cat kind of does a little bit, but people are really into the Cheshire Cat, so I get it. Miguel. So Miguel is on here. So maybe Miguel shows up with Dante? I don't know. Maybe they're one statue. Or well, no.
But why would they announce Dante? Because they would have announced Dante and Miguel if they were going to do that, right?
I don't know. I guess we'll see, right? And Bambi, Thumper. So those make sense. Pooh, we already have that announced. Pinocchio, I think that's good. Rocket Raccoon, I actually have been totally in favor of Rocket Raccoon and Baby Groot. Okay. Bring it on.
This is where this whole thing falls apart. Rocket Raccoon and Baby Groot, no. Like, that doesn't...
I see. I'm in for that. Like, I'm all about it.
But, like, yeah, it would be cool, but it does not make sense. Like, this list starts transitioning into...
Absurdity.
Marvel and Star Wars IPs, and I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Frozone.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but how would they have Frozone and not like the family of the Incredibles? That's weird.
Because Frozone still gets a lot of memes and stuff because Samuel L. Jackson voiced him.
All right, then we got Gus. Why just Gus?
Yeah.
What is 35?
Jacques?
Yeah, Jacques from what?
Is that the other mouse? I should know this, but
yeah, I should know this too. I'm really bad though with that.
Yeah, it's the other mouse.
It's the other mouse. Okay, see, I'm bad with my Cinderella knowledge. So it's not just Gus, but why would they have separate statues for them?
That's where this whole list starts to fall apart as well.
R2D2, again, not shocked by that, and BB-8 as well. I'm not shocked by either one of those. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those are there. Piglet, again, that one's been announced, so we're there. Mm-hmm. But again, they list these as two separate ones. I've been under the impression this whole time that Disney's doing 50 statues, and Piglet and Pooh were together on one statue, right?
Yeah,
they didn't say 50 characters; they said 50 statues.
Again, there's a couple of reasons this list falls apart. Is that they're not factoring in the combined statues, and they're just picking stuff from IPs that probably you won't see anything from them.
Maybe. Number 39, they have Pua, which doesn't make any sense because Pua is like barely in Moana.
Well, but it could be Pua and Hey Hey though.
Well, yeah, if Pua and Hey Hey are together, sure, like that's fine. Like, and I think Hey Hey is actually a good one to have. I like that as a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Lady and Tramp are listed separately. Again, I feel like that's a combo statue, right? Like,
yeah.
Simba, of course, right? I think Simba's got to be there. Now, Bruni, I don't know. I mean, it's a cute character, right? That's the lizard from Frozen 2, right?
Again, Bruni and Olaf could
be together. Yeah, because they kind of were like little friends in that movie. And then I feel like Sebastian and Flounders should be one too. That should be a one statue to me.
Yep.
And then you said Olaf, and then Abu, and then we have Tinkerbell and Ariel. The thing I noticed the most from this list is there's one princess, and it's Ariel. And there's no way it's just one princess. No way.
I think a lot of the ones on this list, they're going to be combined statues, and there's going to be far more than this. And some of the ones are just totally out in left field.
I mean, there's just, it's... Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting ones on here. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree that I think none of these on here are all that far out to me that I don't think that they could be there. Like, you know, I could see all of them, but I also just the omissions, like to have Edna Mode and Frozone from Incredibles and not have any of the rest of the family, like that just doesn't make any sense to me.
And that goes back to my whole statement about, you know, the Fab 50 thing is, you know, when you're picking supporting characters and side characters in shows, how are you saying that this is the Fab 50?
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's why I don't believe in the validity of this list at all, but it's fun to talk about. Like, it's interesting because I think we all know that WDWNT doesn't always post the most accurate stuff, but I always like to use them because I like to speculate, and I think it's fun for us to discuss these things, even if they're not true. You know, and I feel like we always try to make the distinction that, you know, this is a rumor, right?
This is purely rumor. This is not real. I disagree with it. As soon as they start listing Marvel and Star Wars characters, I think that was totally off. Like and again, the ones that they threw in, no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. So you don't think there's any Marvel or see? I think there's going to be Marvel and Star Wars. I just think there are, but. You didn't think they were going to be Pixar though, and then there's been some Pixar ones in there.
But Pixar is still close enough, like it's ingrained enough in the
Marvel
parks that I feel it. Marvel and Star Wars, I don't feel they're quite there yet. They are definitely getting there, but I don't think that. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense in my head for them to claim the Fab 50 and then just throw in a random character from the Star Wars universe, like not even. Like, R2, it should be like R2 and C-3PO or Chewie or something like that, not just R2 and BB-8.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably easier to do statues of those two than a full, like, man figure,
They're not looking at... Okay, look at that statue of Joe Gardner.
Right.
They're not looking at easy.
That's true. That's true. You know what? True. They're not making, like, full-size things. They'll shrink people down to whatever, right? So... All right, let's go ahead and do our other ad, and then we'll talk about a couple more things. I know Damon's just waiting to talk about the Galactic Starcruiser stuff that we've seen.
Yeah, we'll get to it here.
Yep, Damon's just waiting for that part. We're gonna get to it. I actually watched the whole video for that, but we'll get into it in a minute. So
okay.
Monera Financial, guys. So we talked earlier about DVC resale market and buying a DVC resale contract. If you're looking for financing options for your DVC purchase, look no further than Monera Financial. Monera, a Worlds of DVC company, is the industry leader for financing DVC resale contracts. Monera offers lending with no credit checks, often very low down payments, terms as long as 10 years, and no prepayment penalties. If you're thinking of purchasing a DVC contract, go check out their quick online quote first. You might be surprised at just how affordable joining DVC can be. Go to monerafinancial.com or call 317-245-8800, and when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. Okay. This next item is pretty much it's a pretty quick one, right? There's not a lot we need to talk about here, but I feel like it needs to be brought up. Yachtsman Steakhouse, Columbia Harbor House, Pizza Safari, and Toledo all reopening in August, I think, right? Let's see. All of them are reopening in August. So that's great news for more food options. I think a lot of people were waiting for Yachtsman to return. So, the Yacht Club Resort opens, or did it already open back up? I'm sorry. Yeah, the Yacht Club already opened back up, right? Mm-hmm. It's hard to keep track of everything.
but that's good. It's just the next step towards more normal, right?
Yeah, exactly. Despite everything else going on. But yeah, Toledo. I've never been to Toledo, actually. That's not a place I've been. So that one's at Coronado Springs, probably because I've never been to Coronado Springs. So
yeah, there's really not any reason for us to go to Coronado Springs right now. So
that's true. I do know some people that have been to that restaurant though and say that it's very good. So. And then, Pizza Safari is, whatever.
It's again more quick service and all that. So
it's the Pizza Rizzo of Animal Kingdom.
It is. I mean, it's not bad, but and then your favorite one, Columbia Harbor House, is open at Magic Kingdom. I personally did not like it, but I mean, the lobster roll was not good when I ate it there.
It's funny because the group we went with, a couple of people got lobster rolls and said they were great, and I'd gotten like a chicken pot pie there, and it was really good. So like, I mean, I got a couple. I hadn't had any complaints about it, but I thought some people really liked the lobster roll there. I thought that was a popular item, but
maybe I just got it on a bad day. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so we don't really need to talk about that anymore, but I just wanted to bring it up. I'm happy that all this stuff is opening back up. So for those that didn't see this, Disney Imagineering put out a 20-minute long video, basically, of behind the scenes of the Galactic Starcruiser, kind of talking a lot about some of the things that is coming, and we got to see like a preview of the food, just like a brief preview. They didn't actually like talk about it, but we got to see what it looked like, right? Yeah. I don't know if either one of you guys watched this video, but I did. I watched it all the way through just to kind of see.
I sent it to you. Of course I watched it.
Well, I figured, Damon, since you sent it, that you watched it. So.
Yeah, I watched it as well. It's very interesting. Like there's I guess, what do we want to talk about first? The food or the storytelling? Or
all right, let's talk about the food first, because I think that, again, maybe I'm wrong here. I think everyone would agree that it looked ridiculously amazing, and I'm just all for it. Like, I don't think there was anything I was disappointed in terms of the food offerings from what we saw so far. Again, like, I wasn't down with the what was that, blue shrimp? Like, obviously not, but like,
shrimp is crazy looking.
But like, I get it, right? So I thought the food, they did a really good job from what we saw of making it look otherworldly, which is kind of what we're searching for here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it seem like it was something from another planet, and that's great. I mean, they were good at that with Galaxy's Edge, right? And I like how they're incorporating too, like that one dessert that like has the logo of the starship in it. That looks pretty cool. Looks like there's a lot of use of the little smoke, like the dry ice or whatever look. That's pretty cool too.
I think we said it was a couple episodes ago. We both said this, Damon, was that, you know, if it's like a cruise ship, you expect the food to be really good, right? Like it's not just like visually it looks good, but even from what they were describing, it sounds like, you know, the meal is going to be as much a part of the experience. It's not going to be hey, we're going to stop what we're doing to go grab a meal. It's going to be a continuation of the experience, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was all about that. That was definitely a win. I don't know. What do we want to talk about next?
So I'll just mention, so some of the interesting things I found about the video is they were really talking a lot about the storytelling piece and how, and we kind of talked about this, I feel like a few episodes ago, is how they were going to work certain things, right? And I feel like they answered some of those questions where it's like, you can be as involved or not involved as you want to be.
And that sucks. Like,
well, you want everybody on, but that's the thing. They can't force everybody to be on board, right? You know, like,
but here's the thing, right? So the way I kind of got this whole cosplay, not cosplay thing is that, so I'm going to have to worry about, you know, the 50-year-old dude from Ohio who decides that he either A, wants to dress up and cosplay better than the characters there, and I end up talking to him and missing out on all the cool stuff because I don't know what he's doing, or B, that he's not going to dress up and then like totally ruin the immersion. Yep. Like, there's just no win there. I think the better thing would have been, hey guys, you gotta throw on these robes and that's just what it is here. I don't know. I was disappointed in that fully because, you know, I know a fair amount of cosplayers, right? And I know some real legit ones, and their stuff is legit, but I don't need to go see a cardboard stormtrooper. Like, I'm not about that. But like, this is going to be expensive.
Yeah, but like, who's gonna? I feel like the thing is they have to.
Everybody will. Like,
no, but who's gonna pay that much and not be really into it?
A lot of people.
You think
like
so?
Rich people that are just doing it.
Right?
There's a large range of cosplay out there, Tom.
But forget it. So think about it like this, though. Let's just say that I'm really into Star Wars, right? And they even mentioned it in the video. You know, maybe my wife's not. She's not going to be like cosplaying Princess Leia because she's not about it, right? But I am, or I'm not even really, to be honest with you. I just want to go for the experience. But if you're a super Star Wars person in a non-Star Wars family, which exists everywhere, that's where it's going to be a problem. I don't know. I was so on board, and then I was just so disappointed that I'd rather they allowed nobody to cosplay and then just made it that your regular digs and what they mentioned, tracksuit, right? Like, your regular digs and your tracksuit is just what everyone is, and you're just going to be a passenger from Earth. Like, that would have been better than letting people cosplay. And dude, I don't want to see your crappy cosplay. Like I said, I'm not looking for cardboard stormtroopers. That's not what this is about. Like, either I'm a guest on this starship and everyone that's, you know, part of Disney should have it all amped up, or not. I don't know. I was disappointed in that.
I did notice that there was a little message across the bottom of the screen when they said that said there will be guidelines. Like, so
yeah, you're not getting the gold bikini Leia.
Yeah, there's, but I mean, I also don't think someone's going to show up with a cardboard stormtrooper outfit either.
You wait, they will.
No, I'm saying I think there's going to be guidelines for specifically.
What are the guidelines going to be? Like, no, dude, you don't check the box to being good enough for cosplay. You're out.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
For that expensive of an experience, yeah, totally. Why not?
If they're going to force that on everyone, then you might as well just force people to wear the robes and then be done with it.
Yeah,
that was totally the better way to go. Like, you could have just done Jedi robes. I appreciate the flexibility
of it, though. I had the opposite reaction. I was like, that's great for people that don't want to like get themselves involved in the story. They can watch,
but then don't let anyone be involved in the story.
Yeah, but that's the whole point, is to be involved in, like, to be a part of it. But
be involved in the story as a passenger from Earth then. Like, I'm disappointed that you're gonna, like, it's the same thing that they have in the parks. Why can't people dress up as princesses? I've seen people that cosplay that have way better outfits than the princesses at Disney do, right? Why don't they allow that to happen? There's a reason, and that same reason should carry over.
I guess what I was hoping for, what I was kind of expecting from that was that the other way to offer is, like you're saying, Damon, give everyone a robe is, cosplay in the sense that there's like a limited wardrobe you can select from, right? Like,
yeah, cool.
I would rather that they have a store there or something where they're like, hey, as you're going on this excursion, you get to pick, from these things. Like they have, a whole range of, the Jedi stuff, the First Order, whatever.
And maybe you have to even pay for it. Right?
Yeah,
they can make more money.
And that's fine. You pay extra for that. You get, that outfit for while you're on the Halcyon, and that's it. Like it should, I guess that's the thing is, when they start saying, hey, you can do like full cosplay, like makeup and all that kind of stuff. That's, I see your point. Is that where it gets weird? And it's like, you're going to have, either side of it where you're either really into it but then I guess on the flip side, if like I get some people are going to, they'll want to do a day where, they're fully dressed up and then the next day they just want to be casual. But, I guess if you're paying all that money and you're just showing up in a tracksuit the whole time or you're just not invested in it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tracksuit every day.
But why even do it though if you're not going to be really into it? I just I don't see
what's and I guess really dressing up doesn't mean you're not really into it. It's just
no. I don't think the dressing up has to happen, but I mean a lot of what they talked about here were like the story elements, right? Where you're like, you could be in Batuu and like talking to somebody that one of the locals there, and they could give you a mission on the ship or something, right?
Okay, so let me ask this question then. So if you can cosplay, they must be that you can go to Batuu when no one else is there, because
that's not what it seems like to me.
Then you're going to allow people to cosplay in the park then, which is totally against their rules. I think it seems like they are. Yeah.
Because then you could just walk out of Galaxy's Edge and go wherever, right? In full cosplay.
So you can only cosplay within that specific area of the park. Like, man, I don't know. I think that was a bad look for them.
I don't know. I think it makes sense. I think you can't force everybody to do that. I just think you would have people going like, I'll pay $3,000. I'll do what I want. You know what I mean?
I don't want the dude from Ohio with his blue face paint on that. Like, I don't want him interacting with my story. And here's the other thing. Before we talk about the good things, here's the other bad thing, right? That they mentioned. Oh, so there's going to be a passenger that maybe wants to smuggle luggage on. Dude, it's going to be like an online RPG spawn point fest. And that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be camping They're going to be
camping the luggage. Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to camp the luggage. Like, there seemed like there was a few things to do, which was good. But with the amount of people, it's going to be camped. Like, dude, I loved EverQuest, but camping Journeyman boots was like the most terrible thing
for anyone
ever
that's
happened.
Played WoW or any of those games. You know what we're talking about. It's, people figure out, or once people figure out the game, so to speak, and how to optimize on it, they'll be like, oh, I want to do this thing. So you'll have like a group of people standing around some inconspicuous luggage and, waiting for the guy to show up so they can help him.
Yes.
I think it'd be funny if they smuggled some guest luggage.
They actually have you just moving other guest luggage.
Yeah. They don't have to hire bellhops. They just, they make a part of the story.
Yeah.
And this is going to be what's interesting about it. And this is where I'm starting to wonder, because we haven't seen a floor plan. So now let's talk about, again, some of the good stuff. Is I did like that there was some stories that are going to incorporate themselves not only across the hotel, but Batuu, but the rides as well, right? That was really cool. I don't know how that's all going to work with, regular people there, but whatever, we'll wait and see what they say. I think it's going to be a little bit of a cosplay disaster, but okay. I like that. Now I'm wondering if, some of the things that we saw were lightsaber training, which, again, we've seen the renditions for that already, but also they went to a little bit more discussion about kind of what you can do on the bridge and the bridge training. I'm hopeful that maybe there's multiple bridges. Yeah. But I don't know how they pull that off, or maybe there's just so much to do in the bridge. Like, I'm hopeful that it's not something where, again, it becomes very online RPG and you're waiting outside the door for people to go through their instance dungeon. You know what I mean? Like, but let me rephrase that. So maybe I would like it if it was better, if it was instance type dungeon rather than what we would see in other older RPGs where you're sitting around waiting for the group in front of you to finish.
But maybe it's like your whole day's blocked out, right? Like you show up and they give you a schedule of like, here's what's happening today.
But you can pick what you want to do, it says. Yeah. So I don't think they can do that.
But I mean, it's such a small amount of people that are going to be, I mean, there's only, what is it, like 50 rooms or it's not a lot of rooms.
100 people is not a small amount of people. When you're looking at those renditions and you see 6 people in them.
Yeah.
And you're talking, individual, like this whole thing is it's they've highlighted as a very choose your own adventure kind of thing. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
Like what happens next is determined by.
What if everyone goes to the bridge? What if everyone just legitimately were like, you know what? F lightsabers today.
Yeah, we're all bridge crew this week.
We're all bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm sure they've thought about this, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting that they said 6 years. And I think what I found the most interesting about it is that they planned these rides with this hotel already in mind, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, that they built the land and the hotel like at the same time, basically. Like they designed them at the same time.
I think that the stories are going to be good, but I think that they're going to be spoiled rather quickly, which is why I want to get in as early as possible. And I'm still not. There's definitely good there, but I think this announcement made me less excited rather than more excited.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely, because I'm not about this camping and I'm not about this cosplay.
But if there's so many different storylines going on, then is somebody just going to camp out for that one storyline, or are you going to do other stories?
There's always the coolest one.
So here's the interesting thing with that is that, what you're talking about with online games where people figure it out very quickly. The thing about that is people have the opportunity to keep repeating and like really breaking down what's going on there. This, like, unless somebody is paying to keep redoing this over and over and over again, you'll get people's individual experiences on it, but it's going to take a while before you get a real breakdown of like, hey, there's really only 5 storylines and, you get A, B, and C choices, right? Like
they can also change them on the fly too. They can change these storylines constantly if they want to.
Yeah, I think, Trevor, it's going to take a shorter amount of time than you think, just because they're going to run them back to back. And I don't think there's going to be so many different storylines. You can't plan for that with all these, all these things that are going on. So I think that we're going to see, I don't know. I think you probably have 6 months. That's what I feel like. That's why I'm trying to get in early. And I think after 6 months, you're going to be like, all right, you're going on the Starship. All right, well, make sure you do the luggage guy. And then after you do the luggage guy, I would say do the lightsaber training over the bridge because the bridge isn't as good, or, you do it in this order. I think there's going to be a lot of that because it is a game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A cool game.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, again, it's just a matter of how much you can do over 2 days and 2 nights, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, it would be cool if it was set up like you're saying, Tom, where there's, 1,000 storylines and they change them all the time, or, again, some whatever number that is. But I just don't think they can do that. Like, I just don't think that's feasible.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting, though, that you'll be able to go into the park, like into Batu. And the thing that surprised me is like they kind of made it seem like it's a free-for-all when you go into Batu. Like, it's not like a guided thing where they're going to have somebody being like, okay, we're going to go do this thing, we're going to go do this.
No, but think about what they said, though. They said that when you go into the park, maybe there'll be somebody there that wants you to smuggle something back onto the ship, right?
Yeah.
So is that going to mean that every single person, 100 and whatever people, can smuggle that same item back onto the ship? Hopefully, because again, if not, what is that going to turn into? Well, and you know how people are at Disney. They're going to be like, I paid $3,000 a night. Yep. I'm smuggling my stuff back. You know how it goes.
I also find it interesting, too, though. Like, how's a cashier at the toy maker place, gonna identify this is a Galactic Starcruiser guest.
You're gonna have some sort of magic band
kind of device,
or something along those lines, right? That's what I would think.
Yeah.
I just think that it's also going to be really, really tough to do this in a regular park day. I almost, again, wonder if it would be way cooler to give me an hour before the park opened or something like that, or an hour after. Yeah, something, man.
I feel that it almost, like, if they're going to have these kinds of experiences, because like you said, if there's somebody in like the toy maker shop that you're trying to get his attention and it's chaotic in there that particular day,
and think about what's going to happen. Like, right. You totally want to talk about monocling somebody. Like, that's where it's going to be a problem, is the people that like are on this cruise ship are going to be like, hey, I'm on this super exclusive so-and-so, like, you need to move to the side. I need to talk to the toy maker. And then, somebody else is going to be like, oh, no, you don't. And then it's going to turn into a problem.
There's no way the Galactic Starcruiser guests are waiting for Rise of the Resistance either, right? Like, they're... To your point, Damon, that does make me think they're going to do it after hours over 4 hours. Because if they're going to change kind of the storyline for those things...
No, I don't think they are. I think those stories already fit into what they built. That was the whole point of being at the same time.
Yeah, I think both Smuggler's Run and Galactic Starcruiser actually pick up, like, there is a larger story there, and you just see a part of it on the ride.
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's going to be interesting, but that, again, it just led to more questions for me. And probably less excited. The cosplay thing really did me in a little bit. I maybe there's going to be so many stipulations around it, it changes it, but I don't know. For now, like, that part of it was not all that interesting to me.
I think one of the cool things that I thought from it, just kind of some of the experiences that they were describing, like the whole idea of like you learning how to dock a ship, and then you can see a person on the or like an alien on the screen.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, saying they want to come in, and then you dock them, and then they actually show up in real life. Like that kind of stuff is so cool.
But
right?
Again, right? I want to be the dude docking the alien, or is the alien getting docked 100 times?
And maybe they're getting docked 100 times. There's 100 different aliens, like.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be this sort of elitist attitude.
Sure.
That I want to do everything.
But then again, like we're saying, there are some people that are not going to want to do that stuff, right? There are some people that are just going to be like, I'm just going to watch and don't want to participate in this stuff. I don't want to deal with talking to somebody about smuggling stuff.
Sure. I don't think that's going to be the majority, but there definitely will be those people.
At least not in the beginning. It'll be, the people at the beginning will be those all in. Yeah. What you're talking about, Damon. But I think as it goes along.
I'm definitely wearing a tracksuit, though. Like, because they mentioned tracksuit, that's the only thing I'm bringing with me is tracksuits.
Make sure it's like silver and shiny, so it looks like it could be almost futuristic, but
Adidas 3-stripe tracksuits. That's it.
Yeah.
The other thing that struck me too is when they were talking about the idea that there's like the performance that's happening during dinner and the people performing, like, you might encounter them later and they might ask you to do a mission. It felt very Fifth Element to me, but
but again, like, how does that work? Like, what does dinner look like if there's like 30 or 40 people having dinner? And like, does the performer like walk up to each table and like, hey, I got something for you? Like,
I mean,
maybe I think it's more you run into them later, though. Like,
maybe this is just going to cost so much money that there's going to be 3,000 actors.
Yeah, there's going to be tons of actors. Yeah,
yeah.
Well, they also were saying like there are going to be people like maybe a person around the corner that like reaches out to you and says, hey, come here, like, come help me or something, like like it seems like they're going to engage
with 30 people waiting around the corner camping him.
But again, they can move it all the time, though. They can move it all the time. Like, they can do different places and different areas.
They can only do so much, though, Tom. Again, even in an RPG that's semi-randomized, I'm telling you, that
there's still scripted events.
Sure.
Yeah, it still is not going to matter. Like, again, dude, I always go back to EverQuest and these journeyman boots that, there was always like, people figure it out. Even if they're semi-random, it's going to be one of those things. Cause, then you'll have 10 people around this corner, another 10 people around the other corner, 30 people around the first corner. Like, I want to get there before that. I'm hopeful I can get there before that. But they're talking about like the way people are talking. It's like this thing's going to go up and like you're not going to be able to, get a reservation.
Seems that way. Yeah.
Man, I hope they make it so expensive that a lot of people just bag out and I can just monocle my way in with my Riviera contract.
Well, hey, listen, maybe we'll get some preferred booking as DVC members, like they do for cruises and stuff like that.
Nope. I don't even want that. I just want it to be straight up a money thing.
Okay. Well,
no, just
that too.
Priority booking being like we get to book it before it becomes available to the public.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, if you haven't
watched, you think there's going to be a press thing?
Probably. I would think there's going to be some sort of like walkthroughs. This is, I mean, based on how they were describing this seems, I was thinking to myself, do they have like a director like that's managing, like, because there's so many different things going on, right? Like how do they manage
or
it?
An Imagineer director?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, do they have like an on-site person that is like the person in charge that's directing, like, you can't just have a regular hotel manager, right? Like you need somebody that's in charge of the story and like you know what I mean?
I mean, there should be like a cruise director, right?
Yeah, there should be a cruise director, but I don't even know if that's one person, Tom. That may be a lot more people than one.
No, I'm saying it's probably got to be several people, right? Like, I'm just thinking how you even, from an operation standpoint, make this work. So I'm assuming there's going to be dry runs. There's probably going to be a press thing.
Like,
right?
Can you complain about your room? Like at a regular hotel?
Yeah. Why not? Right? Yeah, I'm assuming. There's a lot of interesting things to this, and we only know so much. But if you haven't watched the video, I think it's a good 20 minutes of your time if you're interested in this, right?
Yeah,
it's good for building hype, and it definitely makes me more interested in it. But yeah, like you said, Damon, it does bring up a lot of questions, which I hope we get answered as we get closer to it actually coming online. But I mean, as it stands right now, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Damon, that I want to try and get on this thing as soon as possible, barring it not being ridiculously outside of my budget.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm booking regardless, right? Like I can say whatever bad I want to say about it, but I'm going to tell you if booking was right now, I'm booking.
You're booking.
And I don't know what that price point is yet that puts me like out. So 2 nights.
2 days, 2 nights. So I'm guessing
2 days, 2 nights.
You show up in evening, right? And you stay over, then you have a full day the next day, you stay over another night, and then, I don't know, do you leave in the morning that third day, I guess, right?
I don't know. I'm going to say that my price point to be out, though, is $3,000 a person. Out of that $3,000 a person, then I just don't know. But that's what I feel like fits me. Like, I'll go $3,000 a person, but you start charging me like more than that, then I don't know if I can be in.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty decent number, $1,500 a person a night.
I was wondering to myself, like, are we? Yeah, no, I agree with you, Damon. I am wondering to myself, like, if they're going to have free roaming droids on this ship.
They darn well better.
They should, right?
At $1,500 a night, I want droids.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Disney's being very deliberate about releasing little bits and pieces of this as they
here's the other thing. Don't you feel like, I mean, they were stealing sporks, right? Don't you feel like everything's gonna, like, I could see people trying to like walk out with droids, or I could see like,
anything that's not tied down, like the smuggler's luggage. Like somebody will take that back to their room.
I want the luggage tag from the smuggler's luggage. Like, is it just going to be one of those things where like it's going to be charged like high enough that that's okay? But then how do you like fix that stuff in between? Like, I'm worried about that because it sounds so cool, but like, I don't know, man.
People stealing stuff. People are going to ruin it.
They took sporks
stuff out of.
They took sporks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything not nailed down is going to be free game on this ship for sure.
Yeah, but they'll also notice those things are missing, and then they could charge people for them. Like, right? I mean, they could say,
knock off an antenna from a droid.
Well, that's true, but I'm assuming this place is also going to be crawling in cameras, and they could catch you.
I wonder if there's going to be some sort of funky like galactic scanning on the way in and out. Is what I'm saying.
Galactic.
That looks like BB-10's antenna. Like, where'd that come from?
I mean, if you're getting searched by some stormtroopers, even though
that's kind of cool, actually.
It's cool, yeah, right. But also intimidating, even though it's not like real. But still.
When they actually pull you aside and put you in Disney jail,
yeah, because you stole BB-10's antenna, like that's a problem.
They did mention something about the brig on the ship, right? Where they mentioned that one of the missions might be to throw somebody in the brig. So
yes. Or rescue him, right? Depending on what.
Or rescue him, yeah. Or rescue him, depending on what side you're on.
I'm telling you, I just picture, like, especially when I hear something like that, I just picture 50 people waiting around one corner, right? And then another 50 people waiting around another corner, all trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some way to manage it.
Or yeah, that is kind of funny that it's like you have to wait for, like somebody in the new order throws the guy in jail.
Yeah.
And then, a rebel has to come along and break him out. But then someone else from the new order throws him back in jail. So like the dude is just constantly
cast member 8 hasn't spawned yet. Everyone please wait.
I mean, we'll have to see how they manage this stuff, right? I think this is a lot of open questions. So.
The lightsaber training looked kind of cool, right? I like how they talked about feeling it, right? I wonder how they're going to pull that off. I'm sure there's going to be some cool things around that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I also like the idea of the working blasters too, where you could be on the bridge and you can they have blasters there, so you can. I'm assuming just at some point
shoot
you're going to get attacked. Yeah, you're going. And they said they're going to have a lot of them, right? So like, I'm assuming at some point you're going to get attacked and you're going to get to shoot down some ships, right? So
everybody just gets on a gun and
yeah. That sounds like fun. I'm in for that.
But again, 30 people in there, 20 guns. Like, what's going to happen?
Got to be some way to manage this. There's got to be.
And I don't want it to be like ride management, because then that's kind of like takes you out of it. Like, I'm curious to see how that all goes. Is there 20 guns and there's only 20 people in that room? And then does, number 21 wait outside until they're done? You see what I'm saying? Like, that makes it way less cool.
But I have to wonder if the same way that they used that, we were talking about how they've done Smuggler's Run, where it's, like a turntable and they've got different rooms that you go into. Mm-hmm. I got to wonder if they'll have something like that where, they take out the concept of waiting for it, and that, group A is in this bridge doing their thing. Group B can go over here. And then there's always like you're always having people flowing in and out of these areas.
I hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
And that could be why there's the limitations on, is that it's not that the hotel itself is huge. It's that they may have additional copies of the same room and they're leading people down different hallways and stuff to the same thing, right?
Yeah, yep. That's something we don't know yet, right? I mean, that'll be interesting. I think that makes sense though, Trevor. If they had multiple, I think that the hotel itself is a couple floors. Even if like each floor had its own stuff, right?
Or and that could be interesting too if you go back and do it more than once. Is that they say, oh, go to the bridge, and you knew last time you went and hung a left, and then the next time they have you go straight down the hallway, it's like, oh, there's actually there's multiple copies of the bridge that they're using so that they can keep people moving through and not spawn camping, like you said, Damon.
Yeah. Well, because, Damon, when you're talking about, it's making me think of Smuggler's Run, right? Like, one of your issues with Smuggler's Run, if you're not the pilot, then, why do you want to be on there? Why do you want to be the engineer? Although, I will say that there are some people that don't want to be the pilot. I know, like, when my sister and my mom went, they both did not want the responsibility of being the pilot. They were very happy to be to be shooting ships down. Like,
my parents didn't want to drive either.
Yeah. So, but, I think it's, most people want to do those kinds of things, but then there are other people that don't, right? So it's going to be interesting to say. We'll have to wait. Disney's really releasing little pieces of this at a time. So, making that hype train really go.
Yep. Gives us lots to think about and speculate. But so far, nothing deal breaking has come of anything they've said. So
yeah, that's true. It looks like they have put in a tremendous amount of work into this, which, I mean, I'm not shocked by. But the fact, like you guys said, that they built this, they designed this and built this at the same time as the park, and they purpose built it to tie into.
That was the biggest piece of information that came out. Mm-hmm. I just don't think anyone really thought that. I mean, maybe some people did, but I thought that was like a game changer.
Yeah, because, I mean, they can integrate it so much better, right? They're making one full story that involves both things. So.
And I think it answers, even a lot of the questions we had waiting for Galaxy's Edge to be built. Like, there was things we talked about, rumors of things appearing in it that didn't. And we were kind of wondering like, oh, did they just not do that? And this may answer some of that, is that, we heard about, them building these things and not realizing that, they were building it for Galaxy's Edge, but maybe it's actually more for the Starcruiser than Galaxy's Edge itself.
The interactive stuff, like the reputation stuff, all that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, anything else around the Galactic Starcruiser?
Not for today.
Not for today, but I'm sure in a few weeks we'll have more.
Yeah.
They did mention it's going to open spring of 2022. So they gave a season finally. So that spring, which, can mean a lot of things. So
I just wonder when booking is going to be.
Yeah, that's the next question.
By the end of the year, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I think they'd be smarter to have booking after Christmas, but
But I mean,
maybe people want to buy it for Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to be spring, you probably want to at least have a couple of months out, right? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm going to assume soon. I mean, but at the same time, Space 220 was supposed to open in quote winter of 2019 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that thing has been going on for so long. Okay, so the last thing we have on here is the Harmonious, the upcoming. Can't speak apparently. Nighttime Spectacular at Epcot. We still have a few more months till that debuts, October 1st, so we're still a little far away. But they did share a behind the scenes video and showed some of the scenes from it, which is cool. I'm excited to see this. I know not everybody's into the nighttime shows, but I know for Trevor and I specifically, we both like nighttime shows, and this looks really cool. I haven't seen World of Color, Trevor, but from the clips I've seen of it, it feels like it has some elements of it built in.
Yeah. So specifically with World of Color, the one thing that really, I mean, it was a water show. Like there was I shouldn't say there was no pyrotechnics. They actually used there was some flame effects that happened in it, but the vast majority of it was all them doing things with water and projections and all that. And it is an amazing show. I shouldn't say was, like it's still running.
Still an amazing show. Right?
It's a fantastic show. And if they're doing the same thing with Harmonious, like I'm like the way that like the lagoon is set up, it's going to be awesome either way. Yeah. Like I'm fully expecting, just to go in there and just smile and watch it at this point.
Absolutely. Did you watch the video of this? Cause I watched this video too. And this was, it's pretty cool. I mean, there were some effects in there that I was pretty surprised by, even just like, there was like a water screen effect where they were showing like the planet and it somehow looked 3D and it was confusing to me.
If you've seen World of Color, it's very similar to what they've done in World of Color. Like it's weird, but believe it or not, it's actually I don't want to misspeak and say it's more simple than you think, but it's the same kind of idea of how they project onto a flat surface, like onto a building or anything like that, is that they're just utilizing that, but then with water screens, right? Which, that's where it gets weird, is that because, the screen just kind of appears, just comes up out of the water. So you're going from, there's nothing there to all of a sudden the illusion of a 3D scene. It's a very ingenious way to use their technology.
Yeah, it looks like a globe, and I was like, how did they make falling water look like a globe, like, and make it look convincingly so? And I'm sure they're using some, there's like a lot of lasers involved in this show, and there's all the water jets and all the colored water jets, and I mean, just the few clips they showed on here, it looks incredible. I mean, It really does. And I mean, I expected it to be incredible, but it just looks like nothing we've ever seen before,
It's definitely that next level of their, not pyrotechnics, but like light show and all the stuff that, we've seen this stuff through Happily Ever After and all these other shows. Yeah. They're stepping it up is all.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, like I just pulled the video up right now, and I was just watching the part with the globe, and this is just like a circular piece. Like they're using the way they're projecting onto this water that's just falling straight down through this through this circle is making it seem like it's got, images with depth instead of just being on flat water. And it's just, it's confusing to watch almost. It's like, how are they doing that?
So it reminds me, I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's a place, shoot, I can't remember which country it's in now. It's either in China or Japan or somewhere like that, where they've done a similar thing where they've used the side of a building as an advertisement thing. And at one point, it looks like the whole building is full of water and it's sloshing around.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and it looks like it's the same thing, right? It looks very real, and even though it's just it's just a screen, right? So
yeah. I'm excited for this. I can't wait to see this. So
totally.
But we're getting late here, so why don't we go ahead and wrap up? But I'm very psyched about this. If you haven't seen this video, go check it out. It's only 2 minutes. They really talk about the story of what the show's going to be and show a lot of cool clips. And if you're a nighttime show fan, I think this is going to be a really worthy replacement for Illuminations and really kind of taking Illuminations to the next level. And it looks like there's plenty of fireworks for all you fireworks people. So
yeah, and I will say I made my son watch Illuminations because, we were hyped about it because we watched it many years ago. My son came from a point of view of, watching things like Paint the Night, World of Color, Happily Ever After. When he watched Illuminations, he was like, that's it? Like, he was not impressed by it at all. So, Harmonious is definitely bringing Epcot's show up to the same level as the other ones that, the younger generation is accustomed to now.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, I guess to wrap things up here, as usual, if you guys want to find us, you can always reach us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. Always great hearing from you guys. We get lots of emails and, listener questions, people just sharing their experiences, either about, we love hearing that you guys have listened to the podcast for as long as you have and you enjoy the stuff we talk about. We also love hearing about your trips and just your own experiences, your own takes on the things that we talk about day to day. So, keep that kind of stuff coming. And, you can always send us questions there as well. If you want to reach us on Facebook, you can find us at Welcome Home Podcast, and you can also join the Facebook group, which is Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. Again, we do put a questions thread in there every week, so a lot of our listener questions do actually come from there. It's not exclusively from that group, but you can you can join the group and ask questions and also see some of the stuff we're talking about there with memes and people sharing their own experiences and thoughts around the different Disney subjects. Alternative ways you can also find us is YouTube and Instagram. YouTube is Welcome Home Podcast and Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. Those are the main channels where, whenever we do live shows or go to the parks, you'll see stuff show up on there. As we talked about previously, we'll look at doing another live show probably closer to Halloween. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that if you want to see another fun chaotic live show like we did last year.
A big mess. Yeah, mess.
Yeah. If you want to see a mess that is the live show, then by all means.
And unlike the Galactic Starcruiser, costumes are required. So
no costumes are required, and
I said costumes are required for a Halloween show.
Required. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to let you into the live stream if you're not wearing a costume. I feel like Damon.
I guess I'll have to figure that out then.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. I'm just kidding, but.
All right. And also, if you guys want some merchandise, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. We've got shirts, mugs, masks, all the stuff with the normal logo.
No more Haunted River Country. It's gone.
Yep. Haunted River Country is gone as of this podcast.
Well, let's say thank you to everybody that did buy it. We appreciate everybody that did that. So
yeah, for sure. It was nice to see people enthusiastic about it. And also to that end, we will be coming up with something else here in the next couple of months, so stay tuned for that. There will actually be a couple of things there. Another exclusive shirt similar to Haunted River Country, and we are working on some stuff for Patreon. So, so keep an eye out for those things. Last but not least, if you guys would leave us a review on iTunes or any other service that you use.
We got three new 5-star reviews.
We did.
And it was nice because they were 3 5-star reviews with no bad reviews, like interspersed in, like is normally the case.
I think somebody said, I love Tom and Trevor. Damon is Damon. But see, that's not negative though, right?
No, and it's 5 stars, so that's A-okay.
That's just acknowledging that we value Damon's point of view on things.
Exactly. But the problem is it still didn't move us to Tom's infamous 4.6, unfortunately.
We'll get there eventually. We'll get there.
But yeah, leave us a review, guys. Hopefully it's 5 stars, but we love hearing from you guys anyway, and we appreciate the feedback as long as it's constructive. There is silly reviews in there every once in a while, but just try to minimize on that, and don't take it as an opportunity to bash on Damon, because people like doing that for some reason. I don't know why, but
it's okay too.
I know, but
you can 5-star and bash is fine.
Yeah.
That's
your 5-star.
cool.
You can say whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
By the way, you'll be able to find the podcast soon on Facebook. Facebook introduced a new feature to allow people to listen on Facebook, so that's going to be coming soon. It's on the site now, but it's a little buggy. So just, it's coming soon though. So if that's a way you want to listen, that's an option for you too. So
yeah, that'll make it
also
easier.
Yeah, even easier to listen to us, right? So don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, any podcast app out there. And like I said, soon to be Facebook. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that says Disney and DVC. A reminder to our listeners, as always, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsors, as always, DVC Resale Market and Monera for sponsoring this episode. Please check them out.
Do I have to say sorry to them?
You don't have. I don't think you have to say sorry. Maybe specifically to Derek. I think Derek's probably somewhere crying.
But I think I set expectations, though. I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, is it?
No. Okay. Listen, I don't think a DVC resale besmirches anybody for buying direct, right? Like, you got to do what's right for you, and so Absolutely. I think they understand that. They used to sell direct, right? So all the people
bad for Derek, though.
Now you feel bad for Derek because that's okay. Derek's gotten business from both Trevor and I think he's good.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you'll have to get him some donuts from Gideon's or something.
Yeah. Wait, Gideon's has donuts?
I don't know. Donuts.
Oh my goodness, that sounded like the best thing I've ever heard. And then you just
well, there's that Everglazed place that has the donuts.
Sorry, that's what I was thinking. It was Everglazed. I knew there was donuts somewhere in Disney Springs.
But what if there was a mashup of Gideon's and Everglazed, and they made donut. A scrumptious donut?
You need to get on that. You need to get those two working together on a mashup.
I mean, can you make good donuts by baking them, or do you really just have to fry them?
I feel like fry them.
I don't know.
Yeah. Can you air fry donuts? Is that a possibility?
I think that's a thing. Yeah, I think people do that. Yeah.
Ooh, I tell you, I got an air fryer. It's the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is why people need to listen to the end of the episode. But because, I see stats and I know how long people listen on certain apps. And some people will cut it out before we get to the end. They'll just, when we stop talking about regular Disney stuff, they just leave. And you got to stay to the end. There's always weird stuff.
But usually I'm not on the end.
It's
true. Like, it is an abnormal thing. Yeah, we did get an air fryer, though. And you know what we made, which was so good? Because we had leftover mac and cheese. And we air fried mac and cheese into, like, balls, mac and cheese balls.
Yeah.
It was so easy, though. And actually cooking meatballs in there, too. It besmirches, being Italian. But I'll tell you, it's pretty easy to cook them in there. Just saying.
I mean, that's not a thing I would have thought that you would do, David. I figured you're a meatball snob, so
semi. But
you gotta
I'm wondering now,
those bad boys and then bake them, right? I mean,
I wonder if you could cook cookies in an air fryer.
I'm sure. I think you could do pretty much anything there.
What about cookie balls?
Yeah, you'd have to do.
What about cookie balls that need underwear? No.
What if they just? Oh my god! Wouldn't they just spread out though? Like, wouldn't they just like?
No, I don't think they would.
I think you could make a cake in an air fryer. I think people do bake in air fryers. All right, listen, let's end this. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.